Hi, I'm Reverend Dan. I'm the Methodist minister for the Methodist congregations in Feltham, Bognor Regis and Westergate. Many of us in our churches have been travelling through the book of Acts this May, and today we reach the end. We reach chapter 28. And in the last few chapters, we've found Paul has been arrested. He's been put on trial for telling people that he loves Jesus, and encouraging other people to follow Jesus too. And so now he's been put on a ship and been sent to sail to Rome, except the ship. The ship gets caught in a storm. They go adrift and they end up landing in an unknown place on an unknown island that they later discover is Malta. After being on trial for some time and travelling on a ship through a storm that really threatened their lives, I should imagine Paul was pretty glad to have ended up on dry land. But he was in a new land, a land that wasn't familiar at all. Today is a really special day for Christians because today we celebrate the festival of Pentecost. This festival takes us right back to the beginning of Acts when Jesus' disciples were experiencing their own unfamiliar time. Jesus' death and resurrection and return to his Father was definitely not what they had expected, and the disciples felt alone. They were living in their own unfamiliar. I think there's some similarities here to our living in lockdown. The way we live and work and shop and learn and travel and interact with our families and our friends and our neighbours has all changed a huge amount. And even 10 weeks on, I still feel like I'm in a very unfamiliar land, and the uncertainty about the future doesn't help either. For Paul, for those disciples, and for us, the Spirit of God comes to us. The presence and the power of God that supports us and encourages us and affirms us and says, no matter what, I am with you. For Paul, the presence of God was with him so strongly that the natives in Malta thought he was a god. For the disciples, the Spirit of God enabled them to speak in every language. And for Peter, he stood up and delivered a stonker of a sermon and convinced about 3,000 people to join the Way, which was the early name for what we now call Christians. In Acts 28, we read that Paul says, "You will indeed listen, but never understand. You will indeed look, but never see." Paul challenges the people that are listening to him. Will you seek to understand? Will you seek to see? Or will you just look and listen and carry on as if what you've heard makes no difference? I encourage you today to listen to what God's Spirit is saying to you. Yes, you. Just as God's Spirit enabled the disciples to speak every language, God's Spirit speaks the language of your heart and your mind. God understands your worries. God understands your strains and anxieties. God knows this unfamiliar way of life, with all its uncertainties, is tough at times. Whether you've never had a care in the world about God until today, or you've been a Christian all your life, or you used to go to church, you used to be a Christian, but you've not really paid attention to it much recently, none of that matters. None of it matters. What matters is if you'll seek to see and understand today. God is waiting for you. And I believe God's Spirit is already with you and in you, just waiting for you to see, whether it be the first time, the 10th time, the 100th time. If you want to know more about God and the difference God makes to the lives of many, including to you, then do get in touch with us or find a church near you that you can connect with. May God's Spirit bless you this Pentecost and in the days and weeks to come.